are live. What's up, Jeff? How you doing, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing good. I've just been sitting here talking to you for about 15 minutes or so. So Drip is not with us tonight, as you can see. Drip has perished. No, I'm just kidding. That's terrible to joke.
Oh, God.
Drip, his work life has perished. He's currently on vacation mode for a few days with his family. And I asked Jeff if he'd be cool enough to come on the pre-show and the show tonight, and he said yes. So here we are. If you guys want to follow Jeff, his links are in the description, as they usually are. How you doing, man?
I'm doing okay. Like I was telling you before, I'm recovering from pneumonia, so if I have to mute it to cough a couple times, then I apologize. That's okay.
Coughing is acceptable. That sucks, man. I was telling you before, but yeah, that sucks. That's I'm glad you're feeling good enough to come on tonight, and hopefully it doesn't resurge again. That would stink, but feel better, man. That's no pneumonia for me. No, thank you.
No, 0 out of 10. Would not recommend.
Yeah, for real. What is up, David? How you doing, man? You were here really early. I appreciate you, David. What is up, Martin? As always, what's up, dude? How you guys doing? How we doing? I'm gonna make this Discord notifications happen as we speak. Right here. Boom. And boom. So if you're on through Discord, sorry. Boom. I do feel bad about doing that sometimes. I avoid it when I can. The multi-notification for the same thing, you know? But I think people can mute what they want to mute, so.
Yeah.
What's up, Wall Ball? Hi, Jeff.
Hello.
What's up, Joey Pitts? Hey, this show just got GOAT tier. Hell yeah, man. No drip. The Jeff and G that has a good ring to it, Jeff. Jeff and G podcast.
It does.
Oh yeah, I bought two. What are you talking about here? Wait, I may have missed something else. One for me and one for my 10-year-old. You talking about Switch 2s, David? Did you buy 2 Switch 2s? I know I want to get a second one as soon as we can. For Mrs. G, because she's getting the itch to play Zelda. And I'm like, you have Zelda at home on your Switch OLED. Don't look over here. What is this new thing YouTube is pushing up? Is this like I think it's showing us if you see those badges next to people's names, do you see those too? Like as a viewer?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so I think YouTube is implementing some sort of like Twitch type feature. Because it's showing me that like David was the first one in the chat, Martin was the second one, Wallball was the third, and they're giving XP. Like it says 75 XP for David, and then Martin got 75 as well, and then Wallball got 25. You got 25 as well. You're the fourth person in the chat. It's interesting. I'm not sure how that works yet. Thanks, YouTube, for implementing a feature, not telling us how it works. Kudos. Yeah, you have to let me know, guys, what that XP does. All good, Joey. All good. Besides your pneumonia, Jeff, how are you like? What's your content like these days? You doing much? You interested in doing anything, or what you doing over there?
I have stuff planned, but I've been on and off sick for like 3 weeks, so it's been rough. I was gonna do a review on the Genki case here, the Attack Vector case. Then I have the new one, about the stand case that's coming in from Savage Raven. I got that to cover. It's coming on Monday. I'm gonna do a review on that. I think unboxing, maybe, I don't know. But like, I've just been so sick. Yeah, I got sick. Then I went on vacation, and I got back from vacation and immediately got sick again.
How was that vacation? I forgot you went on vacation. Where'd you go?
It was good. You went to Myrtle Beach.
Oh, hell yeah. I've never been to Myrtle Beach. Somewhere I want to go.
Which is great. It's I find it to be very nice. It's very affordable for what it is.
Really? Okay, that's good to hear.
It's not like super fancy or anything. It's like one of those, like, a lot of it's like boardwalk, like that kind of stuff. Yeah. But it's nice. It's I always recommend people go in like May though, because it's like the last week of June. It was hot. It was ridiculous.
See, like, if I'm going to the beach, I want to sweat. I'm weird like that, but if I'm going to the beach, I want to sweat. I want to be hot. So, like, I'm fine with that personally.
Yeah, I like we've gone in May, like mid-May, and it's been like 75 degrees and breezy and sunny and nice and like I think for me that's perfect. But yeah, it was actually it was not as hot as it was in Connecticut for the week that I was there.
Really?
It was in the mid 80s while I was in Myrtle Beach, and then it was over 100 degrees in Connecticut.
Wow, that's big for Connecticut. Jesus,
it's weird. Like I expected the opposite, but
yeah, we had a few days in Illinois here very recently. In fact, today it's going back up again. I mean, today it was in the 90s. But we had a few days touching 100, and real feel is 100. Like when I cut the grass, that was a few days ago. Today is Wednesday. Cut the grass on Sunday, and it was 95 temperature. Real feel like over 100. Let me tell you. I know that's not as bad as other places, but you know that's really bad for northern Illinois. We're basically in Wisconsin up here, and God, as soon as I was cutting the grass, right, and I hit some spots with the shade and it was fine, but once I was in the sun, seconds, I was like, oh, it's like the energy is being sucked out of me like a Marvel comic. Yeah. I wanted nothing to do with that sun. It was crazy. It seems like, and where our parents live in the Philly area, that it had some really high temperatures as well, like up over 100. So it sounds like the country is over a heat wave. It's almost like we're burning.
Yeah.
Crazy. What a concept. What is it, Power Mad? Hey, Power Mad. Hi, speaking of burning and fevers and sick, I know you were sick as well, dude. How are you doing?
The worst time to be sick too.
I know it's that hot. Time of year. Like but you want to be outside too. But it is hot as well.
It's too humid. When it's humid, it's like hard for me to breathe. I have asthma too. So
yeah,
it's tough.
I have undiagnosed asthma. Like I just kind of diagnosed myself. And one day I was going for a walk. Speaking of walks, and got back from the walk, and I was having like an asthmatic spasm attack, and I was like, "What's happening?" And luckily, Abby and her mom are asthmatics and have inhalers. I needed an inhaler. I wasn't gonna die, I don't think, but it wasn't getting any better, and I couldn't breathe. So, actually, it wasn't. It was actually not because it was hot. It was the opposite. It was cold. It was winter time. So what happened was the dog got out. I chased around the neighborhood, but we're talking, below 20, below 10 degrees, somewhere around there.
Oh yeah.
Super cold. Running around and literally jogging to catch a dog. That constricted the crap out of my airways, and I got back and I'm like, I think I'm gonna die. Can someone get me an inhaler? But I've known for a long time that I've had asthma, but that confirmed it. That was the first time I've ever had like a legitimate, oh, my throat is constricted,
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of things in my life are undiagnosed. Although I think I am technically diagnosed for dyslexia. I was gonna say dementia, dyslexia. Yeah, I don't know, man. I go to the doctor when I'm sick. They give me a Z-Pack, and then that's the extent of my doctor visits.
Yep.
Drip, you've grown facial hair. Powerman says, yes, the best of facial hair. You guys can touch his beard over at youtube.com/JeffDroidvania. Make sure to go follow him. What's up, Brienne? Good to see you. And yeah, guys, please like the stream. If you haven't done so already, please like that stream. Helps us get pushed to a bigger audience. I smell hot dogs being cooked right now. Or like brats. It's gonna torture me throughout this whole show. Good thing I got my bush. This bush. What were you thinking? Gross. Be gross. I know what you were thinking. Bush lime in hand. Joey, I need to try the bush lime. I'm jealous you got to try the bush lime. Maybe I'll probably definitely find someone on my vacation, which I'm gonna begin my vacation, guys. Now we're getting rolling here. People are starting to come through. So Drip is not here this week, but I am, obviously. So that's why I asked Jeff, and he was so gracious to come on and share his time with us tonight, his time and his thoughts. Appreciate you, man. And then next week, I'm going on vacation. In fact, I leave on Friday morning. So what's going to happen for the next couple weeks is Drip, hopefully, for the love of God, is going to run the show on his end. and it's gonna go perfect. It's gonna be perfect. There's gonna be no errors. It's gonna be seamless. So make sure to tune in the next couple Wednesdays, because Drip is gonna be running the show from his end, and I'm not sure if I want to reveal this right now. Maybe in the after show, if there is an after show, I will reveal then. But I have an exciting idea. I've hinted at, but I think we're gonna go through with it. I'm just gonna say it. I'm so excited. I want to do a whole podcast via Nintendo Switch 2 game chat.
Yes.
I think we're gonna do that. I even have the thumbnail. Let me see if I have the thumbnail. I'm gonna show you guys through the camera this thumbnail I made.
A great idea.
It's not like a special thumbnail, but I think it's funny. Like, we're gonna do this podcast. Where's the? Oh no, not here. Hold on. Holding. Yeah, Drip was not all in on the idea, but I've kind of like forced him into the idea. There we go. I just used one of those promotional pictures for the game chat. Yeah. Just threw us on the game chat show. I have the thumbnail made. If we actually do, I think we're gonna go through with it probably next week. So you want to come in the show for next week? Because I don't know what it's gonna be like. I'm gonna bring my little C920. I was thinking about buying one of the Hori webcam so I could stick it in the USB-C port. But I was like, I am not spending $60 for a bit. Like, I can't afford to do that. So I'm just gonna, I'm gonna bring the C920, just kind of webcam it on, hold my Switch out like this or something. I don't know. I'll do something. We're gonna do it. We're gonna try and see what it's like. So there's that on top of Drip gonna be running it. It might be technically declining next week. We'll find out. But it's gonna be funny. At the very least, it's gonna be funny. Yeah. It's gonna make me laugh. So that's all I'm here for. Make myself laugh. Bush Lime is just mellow. Yeah, I mean, most of their stuff is pretty like tame, Joey. I mean, it's got a good crisp apple flavor, but it's not like drinking like, condensed apple juice or something. It's very mild. So yeah, it's good to see that the lime is mellow. How mellow though? Because I wanted to cover the taste of Bush Light, because Bush Light tastes like poop. So I want to be more lime than Bush, David says we had 92 degrees here, and up north in northern Ontario, Canada.
Jeez.
Dang, 92 is no joke, and that is in northern Canada. That's crazy, man. Yeah, I would say I wish it cooler, but I enjoy the heat. I really do. I like this. I sweat in the wintertime. Like, I'm the guy who sweats all the time. So, like, it's not like I can get away. It's not like if it cools down, I'll stop sweating. Like, I just sweat all the time. So, I'd rather, just sweat buckets and, I don't know. I like exercise. I like to sweat. You know what I mean? So, it makes me feel like I'm doing something productive if I'm sweating, I don't know. I'm weird like that. Cool. Oh, no. Yeah. When I worked in a warehouse, luckily it was air conditioned. But Joey says it was 90 degrees, but the factory he works at, it's 120 inside. That, I wish that upon nobody. I feel like if you have a factory or a warehouse or something, you owe it, and people work inside of it, you owe it to them to have some sort of conditioning, even if it's just basic fans, like basic, utility fans, like the big ones, just do something for the people.
Yeah, my brother-in-law works in a warehouse, and I guess he works in shipping, and his department's the only area in the place where the AC doesn't work.
Oh no, yep.
And so people will show up, and he said that they'll be like, "Oh, it's really hot in here." It's like, okay, you didn't need to say it. You didn't need to say that.
Yeah, I worked in Amazon warehouse, and it's in Illinois, which gets incredibly cold. So it has to be conditioned. They have to at least have heating. There's no way you could physically work 4 or 5 months out of the year in a warehouse that doesn't have at least heating, because it gets below zero constantly. So they at least have to have heating, but the air conditioning, I was lucky enough where it was air conditioned as well. So it was always a good 75 degrees in there, never too hot. Except for when you're on the loading dock. I worked on the machines. I drove they call them PIT. Powered industrial trucks. That's what PIT stands for. Like a forklift, right? I drove those around the warehouse. But some days I worked on the dock, and it's air conditioned on the dock, but when you get inside the truck to, when you got to go inside the vehicle to put packages and stuff, not air conditioned in there. So,
Might as well be an oven.
yeah, it's you go from like, this is fine, to I'm in an oven. Or I'm in the coldest climate I've ever felt in my life. Like, either one. Yeah, liquid IV. Yeah, you gotta stay hydrated. If it's 120, Jesus, man, you gotta stay hydrated. Ms. Jeep and I just got some liquid IV for our vacation because I'm gonna guess it's gonna be extremely hot. I just thought of a question I was gonna ask you earlier, Jeff. What was the temperature of the water like in Myrtle Beach?
Oh, it's
like was it comfortable?
We didn't really go into the ocean.
Okay.
We like walked on the beach and like let the waves come up, but yeah, it was fine. It was the water was since it's just barely into summer, the water was still a little bit cold.
Okay.
But not like to the point where where it's like a shock. It was actually really nice.
Was this like how many weeks ago was this? Like 3, you said?
Oh, last week.
Oh, just last week. Okay.
It was just last week.
Okay, yeah. So I was wondering because I'm like, it's been so freaking hot the last few weeks. I'm hoping that I get lucky and like it's gonna be like warm waters for me in the Maryland beaches when I go next week. So yeah, I'm hoping for warm water because my first year we went out there with my family. We've been doing this since like 2022. Just like every year, my parents have decided like they're both retired now, so every year they're gonna get a beach house for a week, and all the kids. It's kind of like a family reunion almost because we're my sister's in Maryland, my brother is in Pennsylvania with my mom and dad, and I'm in Illinois. So this is like the one time a year we all 3 of us are in the same spot, one place, at one time. I mean, so yeah, I'm hoping that the waters are warm. The first year was warm, but the last couple of years have been cold or raining out. The water's been cold, I mean, not the temperature. So I'm hoping this year we get lucky because it's been so goddamn hot that the waters are warmer than they would be in this time of year, but I don't know. Not sure if it works like that.
Usually like the water will cool down over the winter and then it takes a bit for it to warm back up.
Right.
So normally around like September, October is where you want to be at if you want the ocean to be warm, but
I feel like August is a good time too. It's not quite September, but it's going to be, the waters aren't going to be hot, but they're going to be like better than June or July. But we're going obviously in July, so I'm hoping. I just hope. The warm water is so good. All right, man. Do you want to start this? I almost called it a television show. It's not a television show. Technically, if it's on the TV, I mean, does it matter how it got there? It's the television program. All right, man. Let's get it rolling. I didn't say what we're talking about tonight. I should have did that at the start. We're talking about Xbox a little bit. We'll get to that. And the Switch 2 sales are massive. This is like part 2 because we already did this episode basically, but this is like part 2 because updated numbers technically. Oh, that's what I was going to do that. I forgot to get the article to, because those, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about it in a minute. We'll talk about it in a minute. Let's get the show rolling. Welcome, everyone, to the Driven G Podcast. I'm your host, Uncle Jeep, and with me is special guest, Jeff Troidvania. For this podcast live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Listen to this podcast on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. You can watch this podcast over on YouTube.com/DripJeeb. I've been considering adding an and in between Drip and Jeeb, but I just feel like Drip Jeeb works better. Actually, regardless, Jeff, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Doing good. That was a point, and if I was making a video, I would have just cut. I would have kept talking, and then I would have cut it out. So I was like, I live edited myself, like, shut the fuck up. You're not. Stop rambling and get to the show. Really appreciate you being here this week. I asked you last minute, as I typically do, which I'm sorry for doing that a lot, but I'll try to do it a little quicker next time. But yeah, Jirp is on vacation right now. I will be on vacation next week, so. This week we'll have Jeff to fill in, and next couple weeks I will still be doing the show from my vacation with my family. Next week there's a special. You guys want to tune in next week? I told to the pre-show people, but I'm not going to tell you guys yet. Just tune in next Wednesday, either on audio platforms or live, to see the shenanigans that's going to happen next week, but I'll do a show from my beach house. And the week after that, I'll be back home in Pennsylvania with my family, just chilling for a week. And I will do a show from that house, just kind of like phoning it in on the phone. It won't be the normal quality you expect, if this is even quality. But it'll be there for you guys, even though I'm away. So appreciate you guys tuning in this week as well. And again, Jeff, appreciate you being here, man. We're going to talk about some Xbox news and Nintendo sales numbers, because once again, Nintendo's breaking sales records. Pretty cool.
That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Jeff, do you even own an Xbox? I don't know if you own an Xbox.
I do have a Series X. Yeah.
You do have a Series X. Do you play it much these days?
No, not really.
Is that
I play
what's the
Monster
reason you
Hunter on
think?
it, and that's really it.
Yeah. What's the reason you think that you don't play it much?
So I think the Steam Deck was the reason, actually.
That's fair.
After getting the Steam Deck, I wanted to play all my games on that instead, and
Right.
then now it's Switch 2, so I'm trying to play all my games on that.
Are you the kind of guy who kind of sticks to a console chunks of time, or do you flip flop?
Kinda, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think it'll be a little bit different in a little bit. I think I'll probably kind of swap between the Steam Deck and the Switch 2, depending on where I get the game.
Right.
I know, like, there's certain things I'll probably want to play on the Steam Deck versus Switch 2. I was kind of questioning if I wanted to. So the new Hollow Knight game, I know, like, Hollow Knight looked much better on the Steam Deck because of the OLED screen. I'm gonna guess the next one's probably gonna be the same because there's a lot of dark areas with pops of color.
Right.
So that would look better on that. But I'm also intrigued on potentially it having 1080p 120 hertz on the actual handheld, because it's not a very graphic intensive game.
Right.
So I don't know. But yeah, I mean, my Xbox it's just become the system for games that I can't play on handheld. Like, the games are just too much for handheld. Like, Monster Hunter won't play on Steam Deck, so I have to play it on the Xbox.
Yeah, I was one of the poor souls who tried to play the beta on there. It took me, I'm not joking, it took me an hour and a half to download the beta. Not just download it, but the shaders. That was what took the longest time. I just had it over. I was watching TV. I'm like, it'll be a little bit of time. A half hour goes by. I'm like, what? An hour goes by. I'm like, what's going on? And then eventually it did load. I was like, oh my God, look, it's ready. And I don't know why, but I just got excited. Like, oh, it's actually going to play it. It didn't play. Like, I saw somebody post a video with footage. I'm not sure how they even accomplished that, because, man, there was no usable footage that I could see from when I was trying out Monster Hunter on the Steam Deck.
No, so for me, I got the same thing happened to me. The shaders thing took forever, like at least a half an hour to get through that part.
Yeah.
And then I got to the main menu, and it was dropping frames going from menu item to menu item. And I'm like, okay, well, if I'm dumping down to like 5 frames per second every time I like go through one menu item, then the game is not going to play.
Right.
So I didn't even try. I just uninstalled it.
Yeah, same. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm not saying that you're saying that it's negative about your Xbox. You may really like your Xbox. I'm not gonna put words in your mouth, but for me, it's not that I don't like my PlayStation. I do really, really like my PlayStation, but it is kind of the system that I play games that can't run well on handheld. It is kind of that as well. On top of, there's lots of Sony exclusive games and titles that I do enjoy. Ratchet and Clank, Spider-Man. Not that this is exclusive, but Monster Hunter, of course, runs really good on PlayStation, and it would run as well on my PC. But again, I've talked about this before. I'm trying to make sure my PC is just kind of my workstation and not where I play games. On top of, like, I want my desk to be an optional place to play games and not where I have to play games. And that's why the Steam Deck was interesting to me. That's why I had a Steam Deck. I was like, oh, that means I can like play the PC games I have, but like over there. And then I'm like, oh, the battery runs out in an hour. If I play the game how I want to play it on there, it runs out in an hour. And I'm like, this is hardly useful for me, on top of the fact that I had the 64 gig model, and I could hardly put any games on it because of that. And SD cards, I didn't want to buy an expensive SD card to fit the games on there. Plus, they run slower on there. So unless I could buy a really good card, and I'm like, that's why I ended up getting rid of it, honestly. It's just not for me, especially right now. Maybe in the future, a future Steam handheld will be something I'm interested in, but right now it's just not something I'm interested in. Although of course I respect the hell out of it. I think it's a great console. I think they're really kind of turning around that narrative that it's a PC. I think it's becoming a more and more of a console every day with every Valve, Steam OS update. I think it's becoming more and more of a console-like experience, and hopefully one day that Steam OS in like the GUI mode is the really good. It's like almost indistinguishable between like between like an Xbox launcher, let's say, but you only have to go to the desktop mode if you want. I feel like right now it's kind of a need for certain things, especially when things are broken. Yeah. But when eventually, hopefully, get to a place when you go to the desktop on the Steam Deck because you want to, not because you need to. So that's like my wish and hope for the future of Steam OS is like Linux only. I only want to interact with Linux when I want to. So
yeah, that's you run into these random issues with the Steam Deck where like I'll be playing a game that's like not even like a graphically intensive game or anything, but it just some things will just not work right, and people will be like, oh yeah, you gotta like go to the desktop, you gotta download. You got to install this thing that lets you use experimental versions of Proton, which is like the compatibility layer thing.
Mm-hmm.
It lets you use like an experimental version of Proton, and the experimental version of Proton will play this game better. But you have to like, go into the game settings and assign it to that version of Proton, and it's like it's less crazy than it actually sounds from what I'm describing.
Yes.
But like if I want to play a game on the Switch 2, I load the game and it plays.
What you do in the Steam Deck and something, especially if something is incompatible, like you said, you just kind of went through the process. It's kind of have to go in there and enable things. Sometimes you have to go to the desktop to do these things. Sometimes Steam OS is capable of doing that on its side. But there's a process to it. You can't. That's my biggest problem with Steam Deck is you couldn't just pick it up and play a game. You could, but it might be broken or bad experience, and you have to change something. Where here's the process to play a Switch game. I'm playing now.
Yeah.
Like, and it's HDR, 4K, 60 FPS on the TV. No need to mess around with emulator settings, no need to mess around with controller compatibility issues, no need to mess around with Proton. And that's why I sold my Steam Deck for a Switch 2. Honestly, biggest reason. And this is not about the Steam Deck. We're actually, speaking of handhelds, though, I want to ask you this question. Speaking of Xbox, right? Are you any bit curious about this Xbox handheld? The handheld, it is a handheld. It's the Xbox part that should be quoting him with my fingers. The Xbox handheld.
We're not questioning the handheld part of it, no. It's just a Asus ROG Ally with an Xbox logo on the menu button.
And supposedly a launcher that is going to be similar to an Xbox experience, which I question that.
Yeah. I wonder because I think the ROG Ally by default has Windows on it, so it's probably also going to have Windows on it with an Xbox launcher that loads when you start it up. Probably very similar looking to like the Steam Deck. What do you call it? Like big picture mode, I guess is what technically it is in Steam. You could do that on a PC, on a TV too. It's probably gonna be like that. It'll probably let you, I think from what I understand, it's gonna let you grab games from other launchers and launch them from within that thing. So like, yeah, there's gonna be some things that are gonna be nice about it, but like, what are they gonna do about like your Xbox games? Like,
that's the biggest question.
They're claiming you could play your whole library, but like how? Some games are Xbox games. Some games are not PC games. And unless you have some kind of compatibility, like how are you going to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's did they say that? Did they say you could play your Xbox games? Was there an asterisk on that? If they did say that.
I don't know.
Because like, listen, dude.
I did, yeah.
Because listen, like, let's pretend this is an Xbox game case. This is not. This is a Savage Raven hardcover for a grip that's really good. But let's pretend this is a game case, and there's a disc in here that's an Xbox disc. You're telling me that I can play this disc that I bought like yesterday on my Xbox ROG Ally X? How Xbox? Or is there an asterisk on there? You can play your Xbox games, the ones that are on Steam already, or the ones when you download the Xbox Game Pass on your Windows machine. Is that what they're saying?
There's plenty of games that are on Xbox, right? They're on. You can play them on the Series X, but there's also a PC version that's in the Microsoft Game Store. So likely your Xbox library is just going to be the PC version played from the Microsoft Game Store. 'Cause there's a lot of games that are what do they call it, play anywhere,
Yeah.
where if you own it on Xbox or on the Microsoft Store on PC, you own it both.
Yeah.
So, but there are games, like I'm saying, there are games that are on the Xbox. They're not PC games. So what do you do there? I did hear though that Microsoft invested some money in some way into the group that's making an Xbox 360 emulator.
Really?
And they want, and the rumor is that they're trying to get the emulator group to create a version of the emulator that will run on like an Xbox handheld, so you could play legitimate Xbox 360 games on it through like a emulation.
I approve.
Would be cool.
Yeah.
It would be very cool. But I mean, I'm not interested in the Xbox handheld. I think if it came out 2 years ago, I would have bought it and it would have been done deal. I'd have been sucked in.
You would think that they were capable,
some...
but you think Microsoft would be capable of doing that, right? You'd think that 2 years ago, they'd just be able to pump out some RG, slap an Xbox logo and RG Ally 2 years ago and do this. You know what I mean? Like, surprising that it's taken this long to do it. Yeah.
They have their own computers. They could do it.
Surface, man. It's a great PC. You know?
They could make it. They could they could literally just take similar things that are in the Xbox and just slap it into a handheld. Like the AMD processors that are in all the handhelds right now are very similar to what's in the Xbox.
Yeah.
They're all basically the same thing. They're not like exactly, but basically.
Yeah. I don't really have any notes planned on the RG Ally Xbox, whatever the crap. I just wanted to ask you about it because I thought it was interesting because we're talking about Xbox right now. And let's talk about the stuff that I did write notes on for Xbox. And then we'll get to the Switch 2 sales numbers and stuff, other stuff. I'm just called you Drip. I'm used to saying that. Jeff. Xbox is dead.
Dude, they're
done.
I saw someone post on Blue Sky that Microsoft would more quickly get rid of Xbox than they would get rid of their defense contracts. And it's true. Like, out of the 9,000 layoffs that had happened today and all the things that Microsoft canceled.
Did I miss layoffs today? I'm sorry to interrupt.
9,000 people got laid off today.
Ho hum, more layoffs. That's crazy, man.
So we're halfway through the year, and I believe the number's at 15 total thousand layoffs for Microsoft alone.
This year.
This year.
It actually, I thought there'd be more than that, to be honest, but that's actually crazy because 7 months in, 9,000 just today or yesterday, whatever.
Yeah.
That's wild. It's disgusting, honestly, because a company like Xbox can't afford to keep them. You know exactly what's happening. What's happening is the suits, as I call them, they look at some numbers and they go, we're actually we're touching the red, and the red is like that area where they're uncomfortable to be in. It's not a place where their company's in danger. It's not a place where they can't weather a storm. That red is a place where they go, they're the suit above me is not going to be very happy to see this. So I guess it's time.
It's not even red. Like, if you consider, like, in the sense of financials, it's not red. It's not orange. It's not even yellow. It's like a slightly lighter tint of green. Yeah,
that's what's I said red because I just visualized it in my head. But it's hardly discolored from green. You're right, and it's just sick to hear that again. Like I don't know, man. I don't want to get into it, but it's just sick, man. It's ridiculous. And I'm not trying to say, I'm going to say something and people are going to get mad at me. What's new? I'm not trying to say that Nintendo is better. I don't think Nintendo is much better at all. But I will say this. I just stumbled, doing some research for the episode, I did just stumble upon a resurfaced, article has written that was it the CEO of Nintendo or the president of Nintendo, whoever it wasn't president, somebody of Nintendo, one of the higher ups of Nintendo, took a pay cut. They halved his pay. Instead Iwata took half his pay instead of firing people. Now it's a different situation. Now Japan, it works way different than anywhere else, and especially the United States. So there was different culture, and there's different laws that go along with that culture that doesn't allow them just to cut people like Microsoft can on a dime because they're slightly unhappy. But it is something to say at least for Nintendo, that like that's something that they can kind of handle. You don't hear these layoffs happening to Nintendo. And I don't think it's a coincidence that we hear these layoffs from Nintendo and from Sony, and you see a lack of games we see these layoffs from Xbox, Microsoft, and Sony, and you see a lack of first-party games, especially quality games, consistently from Sony and Xbox. But you don't hear that from Nintendo, and they put out quality game after quality game. It's not a coincidence. They don't fire their people, and they make the games, and then they're good. Sony and Microsoft fire their people who make good games, and then they don't make games. And if they do make a game, Concord, it's a flop. So, what's that game? Starfield. I know you're very much in tune with Starfield. You played that game a lot.
Oh yeah,
good game. I think it's a good game though. It's not a flop of a game. Good game. You talk.
Yeah,
about
I love Starfield, but I love Starfield, but yeah, I like it for what it is, but it was not the game that they advertised.
Right.
It came out very different than what they were trying to sell it as. But and you also like this year, if you look at like both Microsoft and Sony, like there really isn't a lot. Like you're saying, there's not on the lineup, and Microsoft said something in their presentation in the beginning of June, saying like next year's like the anniversary, the 25th anniversary, I think, for the original Xbox, and they're gonna have like a bunch of games are gonna come out, like Fable and stuff, which are all supposed to come out next year. But like, are they? Are they actually?
Yeah.
You can't have games if you don't have people fucking making them.
Yeah. And you can say what you want about Donkey Kong. We'll get to Donkey Kong a little later in the show. I know it's not something I was necessarily wanting or looking forward to. The only person I know in the whole community was Joey Pitts, was like, yeah, I love Donkey Kong. And that's great, man. Like,
yeah,
more power to you. This game looks incredible. I can't wait for you to be super happy when it comes out this month. But again, I'm
excited for it, but I wasn't as expressive.
Right. Actually, I'm gonna add a note real quick. I forgot to add this. What happened? Because I'm gonna add this note real quick. We'll talk about it later. The team who worked on Donkey Kong was the team that made Odyssey.
Yes.
I just want to add that note because I remember I was gonna write that earlier and I didn't write it, and now I wrote it, so I won't forget about it later. Cool. But yeah, so in Donkey Kong, you can say what you want about it. It's not, a game that's like, yeah, stick it, Microsoft and Sony. It's more just like, this is a cool game. The more they show of Donkey Kong, the more I think a lot of people start to see the vision of it and really like it. Just we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, Perfect Dark. Jeff, I don't know much about it. I know it's a franchise that was dead, right? It's a dead franchise that they're resurrecting. Is that what it was?
Effectively. Did you ever play the original?
No, I know nothing about Perfect Dark. I know it's probably like a Silent Hill style game, or am I totally off base on that?
No, you're completely
okay.
Wrong.
Yeah, that's how much I know about it.
The original was made by Rare. It was it's in the same first person shooter style as like GoldenEye, but it was like a spy game. And so you play as Joanna Dark, who's like an agent, she's a spy.
Okay.
And I think if I'm not mistaken, the original was the same engine as GoldenEye, as the GoldenEye for Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
And it played a lot like it, but it had like a lot of cool gadgets and stuff. There's a one came out for the Xbox 360 because Microsoft bought Rare. So they had one, Perfect Dark Zero, for 360, but then I don't think there was really anything after that. And then they announced it a couple years ago, and they had the trailer, the teaser trailer, and it looked awesome. It looked so cool. And it was one of those where like you didn't know what it was until like 85% through the trailer, and someone says Agent Dark, and you're like, holy shit! Like there's this Perfect Dark. Like it looks really cool. It looked like you could go through areas and like kind of sneak around the ways that you want to, and like use like gadgets and stuff. They had in the trailer they showed people like copying someone's voice and then using their voice as a kind of a key to unlock a door, and like there's so many cool things about it. And then now that the news is just gone, just thrown right in the trash. It was probably ready to go for next year. Probably one of the games that was going to be ready for next year.
Why would they cancel a game that is ready to go or nearly ready to go? Why would they just go through with it?
When they gave the trailer, and the trailer was like showed what looked like some gameplay footage. So it very well could have been ready next year or the year after. And throw it in the trash.
Yeah. Joey Pitts, thank you for the 199 super chat. Appreciate you, man. Donkey Kong, let's go eat my banana. I'll eat your banana, Joey. So everyone else. I love bananas, man. I should have. You know what?
Me too.
Forgot to get bananas for the trip. Got some fruit for tomorrow for the car, but I forgot about bananas. Never forget bananas are treasure.
I agree. Yeah.
Yes. It's not treasure. Microsoft. They make big promises, and little delivery. That's kind of how I feel about Xbox right now. Is you can even go back to Xbox One, and how when that flopped, and that was the promise was like it's your home entertainment hub in your home. Like this is with the Kinect and all of that. Like it was like, listen, it's your voice command system. It's your Siri. It's your Google voice. Whatever. It's your everything. And then what happened? It was still just kind of like Waggle, but like slightly better. The tech was way better, but implementation was just kind of like, this is no better than Wii waggling, And the games kind of stink.
When you had to like do this and then like hold your hand over something for like 3 seconds for it to like initiate and like, or you do, was it screenshots required voice command?
Yeah.
Which is just weird.
Yeah.
Did you just get a membership for your own?
This is okay. This is hilarious. Okay, David just gifted a sub. Which if you guys didn't know, you can gift other people memberships of the show. I haven't pushed membership recently because we're behind on getting content up for you guys. I do deeply apologize for that. It's just time frame, man. Drip and me being available at the same time to do our things outside of Wednesdays is very tight. So I apologize. I will make it up to you. We'll make it up to you in some way. But for now, we'll let you guys know about memberships in the future. But the funniest thing just happened. David just gifted a membership. Which again, you can do that if you want to gift somebody a membership. Feel free. You're able to. I'm not sure how you do it exactly, but it's something you can do when you order a membership. I call it my burner account just because it's funny. It's just my personal YouTube or my personal like where I watch YouTube on. That's not made for content or anything. It's just like how I watch YouTube. But I call it my burner account, and my burner account just received a gifted membership from David. I feel really bad. I'm gonna pay it forward. I'm gonna gift somebody else members. Oh my god, Dave just did another membership. Brienne got a membership out of Dave. David, thank you very much, man. There you go. Two gifted memberships. Dave. Really appreciate it, David. Thank you so much. That's super kind of you. I'm still gonna gift it forward. I'm gonna gift somebody else a membership because I just received a membership I don't need, so I feel bad about that.
So is it like Twitch where if you don't choose a person, it just automatically throws it at someone who's following or whatever? Yeah,
I imagine so. The only way I interacted with this stream is I just liked it like when I created it off that account. There's no comments of me. Like my burner account's not messaging in the chat or anything. So I guess it just kind of pulls.
Subscribed to it?
Yeah, maybe that's it. You're probably, yeah. This is why
I think it is like if you're following on Twitch, if you're just subscribed on YouTube, okay. I think if you just do a random person through a gift, I think that's what it does.
That makes more sense.
Pick somebody who's subscribed.
Yeah, and then Joey Pitts resubs for the Arizona Ice Tears, which is the best thing that's ever happened to our memberships. Jeff, thank you very much.
Yep.
You see the new membership thing next to the name of somebody who has a membership. It's an iced tea, Arizona iced tea can. It's kind of hard to see because it's a small cylinder, but it's there. I promise. Thank you, all you guys. Appreciate David and Joey. Appreciate you guys. And Brienne, whenever we decide to post another membership thing, enjoy that. And there's lots of content right now. There's lots of content from the past that we've posted for members only. That's still available. Lots of videos, lots of live streams that we did, and lots of like long form podcasts as well that are on the membership side of things. So check it out. We did. I think our whole Tears of the Kingdom review is on there, because Wisdom review's on there too. Feel free. It's there's value to it, even though we're not posting stuff right this moment. Again, let's get all that. Thank you guys. To stop talking about the memberships for a moment. What were we talking about? I wrote countless flops. I feel like that's a stretch. I don't think there's countless flops from Microsoft, Jeff. But
I wouldn't say countless, but yeah.
Do you have any off the top of your head that are flops from Microsoft? I guess Starfield. I mean, that's a flop, right?
Yes. I don't know. I can't even think of anything right now. My brain's cooked.
I can't either. It's fine, man. I can't either. I'm already in vacation mode, to be honest with you, but we're going with it. Yeah, this is the big one. Xbox, speaking of Xbox being dead, They should be thinking about decreasing their prices at this point. Number one, because Microsoft can afford to. But number two, to get the interest back in the hardware. If you're in the hardware business, everyone and their mom can see the Xbox hardware dying. It's obvious. We all see it. This is not us being Nintendo kiss-assers or whatever you want to call us. Everyone can see Xbox hardware dying. It's almost inevitable. So you think Xbox, Microsoft would try to do everything they can to reduce that inevitability and try to reverse it. Well, the way they tried to solve that was to increase all of their prices on almost everything, including the systems, which got huge increases in prices.
I forgot about that. I forgot that Microsoft decided that their 5-year-old console was worth $100 more than it was. It's not.
The series
people weren't buying it at $350 when it was on Black Friday sale. You really think they're going to spend $700 on it? Sorry.
No. Go off, fam. Let's go, girl. Let's hear it.
No, for real. Like, are you ridiculous? Like, they saw one other company raise prices and they're like, yeah, let's do it. Like, come on, dude. Like, I don't know. It's stupid. Just means that if I'm going to buy any Microsoft games in the future, I'm going to wait till 3 years later when they have a giant sale and it's like $20. They're not going to make any money off of it.
3 years.
I know one person just,
It's going to be short in 3 years. Those sales are going to, especially if the hardware is starting to die, you get a disc for nothing. Concord.
Yeah.
I
feel bad for anybody who owns Concord on Blu-ray.
No, do not. No. Digitally, yes. But those people who own it physically, don't make any mistakes here, Jeff. People who if you have especially a sealed copy of Concord, give it 10 years. It's like a stock. Give it 10 years. That thing's gonna be worth hundreds of dollars. And in fact, I was sad. I missed out. Once I heard Concord was gone, I laughed. And then a couple of days later, I thought, wait. Because I saw an article that they're about $10. Like retails were selling for $10 to get them out of their shelves because they're worthless. But retails were like $10. Get them off the shelf. And I thought, man, I should go pick one up for $10. Kidding me? And then just give it a couple of years. It's gonna go crazy value. I mean, it's gonna be it's not the game. It's not necessarily good games that go up in value. It's games that are, less available or hard to get. Concord's both of those. So. Interesting to see in the future. I wonder if they're going to be buried next to E.T. The NES copies of E.T. Maybe they know where those are at. Yeah. Yeah, I saw a really good quote from an article. I don't remember the article, but the quote was this. Xbox today is a messy division caught between what it was and what it needs to become. I think that completely, perfectly encapsulates what the problem is right now for Microsoft. They're just kind of stuck between where they are right now, which is a competitor to Nintendo, Sony, Steam, even Valve, I should say, with hardware and games, but also where their inevitable future is going to be, which is Xbox as a service. Hardware is not there or an afterthought. Which I kind of feel like they're already there. I mean, they're kind of already there. The hardware is an afterthought for Microsoft. They've kind of told you that by raising their prices by as much as they have, they've kind of told you, hey, we know you're not buying it anyway. The ones who are already bought it, the ones we care about, we'll keep doing stuff for you. But for those who didn't buy an Xbox, if you do buy one, thanks for the extra cash.
I'm going to assume from what I'm seeing and from what I can just gather in my brain, that at some point in the near future, an Xbox is going to be just a gaming PC with an Xbox logo on it. And it's not going to be its own thing. I mean, it is already kind of, right? But it's instead of being any kind of custom thing, because even in this Xbox Series X, there are custom things that are not in a regular PC, right? There's like the expansion hard drive thing that you could buy. It's a proprietary thing, which, I mean, whatever, but there's plenty of things in here and plenty of things in the software that are just on the Xbox. But I feel like 2 years from now, if I go to buy an Xbox, it's just going to be a gaming tower made by Asus.
Yeah.
with the Xbox Experience app that loads up when I turn it on.
Yeah, and we'll wrap up this segment like this. I was a big fan of Xbox. It's died so much so that I sold my Xbox 360, not my original one, but my slim model that had no value to me. I sold that to GameStop for enough money to buy Astrobot with when I bought Astrobot. And that's kind of where I'm at with Xbox as a fan. They don't care about me anymore. They haven't cared about me since the 360, which I'm going to read this comment from Atomic Man, which is perfect. Atomic says, I haven't cared about Xbox since the 360. I can relate. Having said that, I will never forget the first time I played Combat Evolved on the OG Xbox. One of the best gaming experiences of my life. I feel like that's a lot of us OG Xbox fans, and that's where we're at. I consider myself an OG Xbox fan. I was there for the launch of the. I didn't have one at launch. I was too young to buy it myself, and it took my family a couple years to get one. But I played the original Halo on the Xbox. I remember my brother and sister hosting their friends over for a LAN party with Xboxes. I remember that. I was there for that. I remember when I was old enough to, with my friends, playing Xbox Halo 3 online, Halo Reach online. Great times. And I kind of wish we could get back to that place with Xbox. I'm rooting for Xbox. They just keep doing things over. They're like the Sixers. I'm going to use a basketball analogy because I'm a big basketball fan, a big Sixers fan. I love the Sixers, man. I'm currently wearing my Sixers hat. I wear it proudly, even though they're kind of like my disappointing child. I love them so much, but year after year after year, they just disappoint me so much. I mean, the expectations are here. This is the worst year for the Sixers in terms of my expectations. The expectations were championship, and they just got the third pick in the draft for being the third worst team in the league. The expectations were up here, the roof, and they were the third worst team in the league. I mean, we're at the peak of disappointment for them, and that's exactly where we are with Xbox. We are at the peak of disappointment. There's no reason why during COVID I shouldn't have wanted an Xbox, but I got Nintendo instead because they're just more interesting right now. They're doing better things. I don't have loyalty to an Xbox like I do with Philadelphia sports teams. I wasn't born inside of an Xbox, although Xbox will try to make you think that because they say everything's an Xbox. Well, guess what? My mother's womb, not an Xbox, Microsoft. You can't have that. So, before you sell before you sell Halo to Sony for Sony to ruin, you already did Bungie, before that happens, can you just give me it to me on Switch, please? Just give me the all the Halo games, the good ones, please. Don't give me the crap new ones that you did. Give me the OG games as a collection. They actually already exist. It's called the Halo what's it actually called? I don't know exactly what it's called, but
Master Chief Collection.
Thank you, Jeff. This is why you're here.
I guarantee you that every single one of those games would run great on Switch too.
I guarantee it as well. Just before you sell to Sony, Microsoft, can you give me those games on Switch? Because that's where I'd rather play, because that is a console and a company actually gives two fucks right now, unlike you. Moving on, Jeff. Who said it? David in the chat. David says, well, what about Nintendo's increasing the price on their Switch 1 hardware and stuff, Drip and Jeep? Funny you say that, David, because that's in my notes here. We're going to talk about that right now. So I was going to pull up the tweet. I just forgot. I ran out of time. Didn't do that. But there was a statement that was released by Nintendo of Canada, and I'm going to try to get this right as much as I can. Nintendo of Canada put out a statement that basically said there will be an announcement of significance regarding the price of Switch 1 hardware, I want to say. I wasn't actually sure if it said Switch 1 hardware or Switch hardware, because I don't know. Maybe Jeff knows more than I do. We'll get to that in a second, but coming soon. Yep. So tell me what you know about that, Jeff.
Yeah, it's not related to Switch 2.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't wrong about that, because I get things wrong.
Yeah, it's just Switch 1 hardware. But like I was saying to you before we went live, I'm not sure if it was confirmed that the price was going up. The thing that I saw was probably an early on thing. It literally was just, we have news about price changes that we're going to announce on August 1st, and that was an official Nintendo thing. But other people had said that it was going up, which I can only imagine if you're going to say prices are changing, why would you announce it like that? If they were going to be lower, you just tweet it.
Yeah.
You'd be like, hey, we're reducing the price of the Switch. No, if you're gonna do it like that and be like, gotta wait for the update, gotta wait for the news. No, it's gonna go up.
Yeah, the way it read to me was it was like a cat with its tail in between its legs, or a dog in between its tail. It's like, wow, dyslexia. A dog with its tail between its legs. And
yeah, like David said in the chat, like if price is going down, why wouldn't if it's good news like that, why wouldn't you just lead with it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can only assume until they tell us otherwise that it's a price increase and again, Switch 1 hardware. What? Excuse me? What are you talking about? It would make more sense to me if you were raising all Nintendo hardware, but you're not doing that. You're just raising Switch 1 hardware. What sense does that make? Like, honestly, I don't get that. It's last gen. There's no more stock coming in. You need to get them out of your retailers, not stuck in their warehouses. Retailers are probably pissed at this news in Canada. I can't imagine there's any retailer right now with Switch Lite, like the blue turquoise Switch Lites or actually the yellow ones that sold a little bit less. Whatever color didn't sell the best, are going to be thrilled that the gray Switch Lites that have dust on it from 2019, are just sitting in their warehouse, and it's going, oh, well, now we got to sell for $50 more or $100 more. Like, good Lord, how much? Who knows how much exactly? They didn't give us a percentage. What? I'm shocked.
It makes less sense to raise the price of Switch 1 hardware in Canada than it did for Microsoft to raise the price of the console.
I agree with you. Like,
it's wild. It's wild. Also, like I sort of mentioned before we went live, is that so we're in the US, we have a different economic standard, different things, the prices of things per like how much people make. It's completely different than it is in other regions of the world. And in Canada, from what I understand from people that I know that are from Canada, the amount of money that it is more is like the equivalent of the exchange rate, but it impacts them way more because of the economic standing, because of like the amount of money people make.
Right.
It ends up costing way more for each person to buy a Switch. Like people are not buying a Switch 2.
Simply put, they make less.
So much more expensive.
Their currency is worth less than ours, so that means that their console prices are going to be more expensive equally. So it does track to our prices, but like you were just saying, they make less money over there overall. They're like the cost of living is more or whatever it is. Regardless, it is like a price increase in general, just without any price increases. And now announcing this on top of that is nuts. Almost as equally as nuts as raising Switch 1 prices and not Switch 2 prices when the Switch 1 is last gen already. What are they doing? Like, honestly, I'm flabbergasted at this news. It's only in Canada, so I'm sorry, my Canadian brethren. For some reason, I feel like the United States is somehow to blame for this, because we're to blame for a lot of goddamn things right now, and I feel like I apologize. It's not our fight to apologize, I don't think, but I feel like it is. So I'm just going to apologize. So sorry. At least your Switch 2s haven't gone up in price. If I was Drip, I'd play the boom, 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 because that's what it's like right now. I feel sad for Canada, and I don't understand the price increases, and that's all I really have to say about that. It sucks. It sucks, man. Any last words for Canada? For Switch 1?
I don't know. It's just, at this point, it doesn't. Sorry.
You're good.
At this point, it doesn't make sense for someone to buy a Switch 1 console then they might as well just save up their money and get a Switch 2. But what was it David saying? My Switch 2 was $790 or $790 Canadian dollars 90 cents.
We'll say $90 or $80. Excuse me. We'll say $800. But $790 Canadian dollars
with taxes. Yeah, wow.
That's ridiculous, man. That's ridiculous.
So, I mean, yeah, and if you're talking, is that the Mario Kart bundle, or is it the regular?
Right. Yeah, answer that, and while we wait for that answer, that's a lot of freaking money, dude. That's a lot of money as it is. It's going up from there.
A lot of money.
Holy crap.
That's the Mario Kart bundle. Okay, I thought that might have been the case, but even then, like 800 Canadian dollars. That's I mean, they're not equal, obviously, but the number difference is 300. So it's not like You know?
Yeah. So
Yeah, $700 and then tax, and
yeah,
tax. That's a lot of tax.
that is a lot of tax.
Well, I mean, you guys get things.
Right.
When you pay taxes, you get some stuff. We pay taxes and then we get more taxes.
Yeah. Yeah. You actually pay tax to know what you get? To pay Pep Boys to fix your tires because of all the potholes you drive through. That's what you get when you pay taxes in America.
Right. Yep.
Good old America. Let's talk about what we're here to talk about. Good and bad news, I feel like. I feel like it's good, both good and bad. We'll talk about both. We'll start with the good. The Switch 2 is breaking records again, as we expected. They already broke all this. They already broke in 3 days. They broke the month sales records for every system that's ever been released. So we knew it was going to have the month sales records. That's not surprising. What's surprising is the final tally that we got. For 26 days, 5 million units have sold for Nintendo. That's big. That's obviously a record.
Was that an official number, the 5 million?
Again, that's one thing I forgot to pull up any articles and stuff.
That it was like a projection, possibly, but if it is the real number, that's insane. Because I think the record for 2 months of sales is held by PS4 or something. And I think it's like 4.5 million for 2 months.
Yeah, well, I can guarantee right now, if it's not official, then it's definitely at that, at least. There's no way it's not at least 5 million. Because there's been restocks. I've heard this thing's been hard to get. Not impossible. As long as you're vigilant and know which Twitter feeds to follow and Blue Sky feeds to follow, you know how to get one. Actually, just yesterday, Best Buy had one. And it had them in store if you waited in line or something. So they're hard to get and they're selling out, which means that everything they sent to every units they sent have been sold. So I'll say this: I don't know if it's official. What I know is that it's a leak, as far as I know. That number of 5 million. Apparently, Nintendo accidentally posted something. I don't know what that thing was, but I do know that they posted something reportedly, and it had those numbers in it, and they took it down. But of course, the internet will be the internet, and we can see that it was 5 million units across the whole world, and just some specific numbers. And we're going to assume that that's right because, again, that's like the minimum. Plus, 26 days, not a month. Still a few more days after that. So you can still sell another few million if you got them out in time and stuff like that. It's possible. Anyway, let's just go with it for now. And the U.S. was close to 2 million of that. Europe was 1 million. And Japan was 1.5. And then everyone else was the rest. It was like, what, almost 1 million for everywhere else? So that's the rough numbers. It's not obviously not exact, but that's what makes up the 5 million. The U.S. being the most, and Japan being a close second. Thoughts on 5 million as a possibility, we'll say.
I think it's definitely possible. I mean, I think what's crazy is that it would be more if they had more, if it was more readily available. And it was very readily available, I feel, compared to other console launches that happened recently. So it's insane. Like, it could have been way more if they were able to pump out more units.
Right.
But things happened. I mean, things do happen. But
sorry. Yeah, I'm going to hope that that's more than that, just so we can just laugh even more at the numbers, just because it is. It's like your it's almost like if your team is the name called the Eagles and they played a team called the Chiefs and they just played in the Super Bowl and didn't just win, but won by a ridiculous amount. And you knew by the second quarter that it was over, but you had to wait because you're a Philly fan and you never truly know if you're going to win. They always find a way to blow it, but they didn't. But they almost did. The Chiefs came back and scored 19 in that game or whatever it was, but that was only because they took out their starters. That's like Nintendo selling, taking their consoles out of the retailers and selling them on the street because they thought it was ridiculous how much they were winning. That's like my sports, but I like those. Drippaziner stop me. Haha. But yeah, no, that's 5 million is insane. I don't want to take that away from them. And I assume it's more. We'll know more in the coming days, hopefully months, maybe actually. Who knows when they're actually going to post that stuff publicly, officially. But 5 million's a lot. That's crazy. And if it's true, it is the record for a month. Although We already know what the record is for a month officially, which is 3.5 million, and that's the Switch 2 after 3 days. So it's just a matter of can they beat their old record. So we'll see what that official number is later, but let's assume for fun it's 5 million. And actually, it's a bit lower than Drip and I both projected. I think there's a podcast out there if you want to find us talking about this within the last month or so. It was actually when we talked about the 3.5 million. If you want to listen to that show and let us know what we said. I think I said 7 million, 7 to 10. And Drip said over 10 because that's what the experts said. It was like 10 to 12. So again, experts. Who are these people making experts of console sales? I don't know who you are. But apparently you exist. So 5 is below that. And that's a little surprising to me. That's a little surprising to me that's that low. Because that's only $1.5 million more than 3 weeks ago. So I don't know. Do you think that's a low number, Jeff, considering what it was 3 weeks ago?
It could be, but I mean, I know like these kind of things will, like, the number will explode super quick at the beginning and then like kind of drop off. So it could just consistently go throughout the rest of the time, but who knows?
Yeah. And by the way, if Luna wants to come in and sit on your lap, I'm not going to stop her. So you feel free to grab Luna anytime you want. Because I hear her. Right. I want to see her. No, but yeah. I'm a little surprised at that. I'll be honest. It's a little surprising. 5 million is a little low. And I'm going to talk about some reasons why. Not that it's a negative. Again, it's far beyond the record in a month, okay? Full Metal wants to see Luna. The people have spoken.
Too hot in here. I'm on antibiotics and it's making me sweat. And like holding here would.
That's fair.
It'd probably be miserable.
That's
Sorry,
fair.
Everybody.
That's okay. That's fair.
Maybe.
Next time. But yeah, so I'm going to talk about some reasons why I think it's not the 10 million it could have been. And I'm using this as an outlet to complain about things that I want to complain about. Lack of first-party games is a fact. I mean, Drip and I talked about this last week. It's not great at launch. When you're talking about Mario Kart, that is great. And then what's your next one after Mario Kart? Welcome Tour? Yeah.
Welcome Tour.
Yeah. Not great. Not great first-party launch, for sure, no doubt. And third-party-wise, pretty good. Not amazing, pretty good. But as we've heard, as of recently, especially for physical sales specifically, third parties have had not only didn't meet their expectations, but severely missed what they projected to sell physically.
Lower than their lowest projected number. Yeah.
Now, Wood Beat 'em Ups did a whole 20-minute video on his channel talking about this. I watched that video, and I agree with 110% of everything he talked about in that video. I highly recommend all of you guys go watch that video. He said it better than I ever could. So go watch that video about game key cards. I think it's specifically what it was about. But that's what I'm going to talk about right now is game key cards, and that's a reason why. That is, I think Wood thinks. I agree. I've said this a long time ago as well, though. Just now we have proof and numbers to back it up. But game key cards fucking suck.
I was optimistic about them at first, but there's a couple things that I remember learning about. I think you guys did a thing about it where Street Fighter, the DLC was a code in the box.
Yep.
And it's not included on the card. And then if you install the game with a key card and then put the code in for the DLC, that means you have burned up that code. So now that game key card's worth less because you bought it with the DLC. And it's like things like that where it's like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't know. If I'm buying a physical game card, I want the game to be on it. That's just it.
I agree. Quote of the year. Need we say more? If you buy a physical game, I wanted the game to be on the cartridge. I don't want it to be off the cartridge. I'm going to buy digital. Now, some people say, there are 0 reasons for me, but some people say, I can resell the game. I can share it with a friend. Both of the things are true. But I'm not buying a game so I can I'm not buying a game thinking about reselling it or sharing it. I'm buying a game and thinking about playing the game. And to play a game on a key card, I have to lug it around with me, put it into my system, and have an internet connection every time.
Yep.
Well, actually, not the internet connection. That's what the key card's for.
No.
But
you still have to have it installed on the drive. There's only so much storage on the Switch too.
Yeah, these games on key cards they're big storage. So
yeah,
they're big files. I mean, and you have bigger storage than Switch too, but not enough. And if you buy game key cards, that's a benefit of physical, is that you don't got to put it on your storage space.
Right.
And you could just carry the cartridge around because you have the game with you. And it just doesn't matter. Offline, online, whatever. You just pop in your cartridge and you're good. This is not that. This is a digital game with a physical license. And I would rather, it's for the same price. I'd rather just buy the digital game.
Right. So for me, I've been buying digital games. The main reason is because it lets me be lazy and I can just pick the game from the menu and play it without having to do anything.
It's not lazy, man. It's called convenience. This is society.
Yes.
We are lazy as a society because of convenience, but go ahead.
Giving up this convenience of being able to just go through the menu and pick the game, because now I have to stick the card in still. I have to carry that with me.
It's a legitimate trade-off. We're talking, first of all, Jeff, don't let people call you lazy, because this is a hobby. Okay? This is us we're doing this for fun. And if I'm doing this for fun, I don't want to work. I don't want to have to carry around a game cartridge if I don't have to, and I don't have to. But if I do carry around a cartridge, which I like cartridges, I'll switch to this screen again just to remind you guys. Oh, you can't see I forgot I moved my physical games to somewhere else. That was pointless. But I do have physical games for Switch One. I do like them. I do like the fact you can resell them. I've done that as well. Plenty of them. I like that you can share them. I've given games to people before.
I've got this thing. That's like the...
Yeah, there you go. One of those clamshell devices you can stick the cartridges in. Yeah.
This is nice. Yeah. So I think for me, it's just... if you're not gonna put the whole game on the cards, just only let me buy it digitally, and I just think that's just the way you should do it. And I think for me, for Switch 2, because games are getting bigger, I might buy the cartridge games that have the game on the cart. If I buy a Nintendo game, I'm probably gonna buy it on cart. Donkey Kong, I'll probably buy the physical, which is very unlike me, because like a couple of years ago, like 3 years ago, I said that I wasn't going to buy games physically anymore. And now I think I'm going to switch to actually owning some games from now on.
Well, I mean, I've made the decision recently. I've recently made that decision that I'm going to buy digital only, but there's an asterisk. That asterisk is games that I would like to collect, because I do like collecting games. And Donkey Kong is a part of that asterisk. I'm going to buy Donkey Kong physically. Because number one, I enjoy the experience of going into a store, buying a game, especially on launch day. It's a fun experience that I would like to have still. So I want that. And I'm going to do that. And number two, if I'm going to buy a game physically, which is more inconvenient than buying it digitally, and the same price, there's no difference except for if there's sales involved, which in that case, physical is even less expensive because they go on sale faster, or different sales because of retailers. If I'm going to do that, it needs to be a real one, not an imposter physical game. That's what key cards are. They're fake. I've said this before. They're not real. They're not actual physical games. They're just tricking you. So for what? So you can put on your shelf and flex? Like, again, wood beat 'em ups. You know, he's at least he's self-aware. You know, he's in this video, he's laughing at himself, right? I get it. I get it. He buys them for the content, and he makes the money up in a second. So it's not a big deal for him. But he's not doing that. He's also buying those games digitally for the most part. And when you're playing the game, anyway. Point is here, key cards suck. They've always sucked, and the sales not prove that. Third-party games did not sell well physically, well below their lowest expectations, because they put them on cartridges. And actually,
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk, the best-selling third-party game by far, was all in the cartridge. People are aware. The consumers are not dumb. There are those dumb consumers who go, bah! And buy a key card because they want to, and you can't tell them otherwise. Whatever, man. I'm not telling you not to buy them. But consumers are aware, and they have been made aware that these are not real games. Oh, excuse me, not real cartridges. They're real games.
They don't. It's just a piece of plastic with a...
Yeah, you put it in your Switch, and it says, here's a potato. It's just a PNG of a potato. No, they're real games. They're fake cartridges. Just buy digitally. If you're buying a key card, buy digitally. It's way more convenient. Don't gotta go to the store. Don't gotta burn fuel to go get it, unless you're an EV, which you're not burning fuel, but most people don't have an EV. So
I thought key cards were the solution to code in the box, and that makes me really mad to find that there are still games that are code in the box, like Split Fiction is just a code in the box.
I've been on that train that I disagree with that argument. I disagree that they're the fix. A lot of people think that they're the fix to codes in the box. If I'm gonna buy a key card, I don't want it. Give me a code in the box, because at least with the code in the box, it's a true digital game. It's a real digital game, not a fake physical game. It's a real digital game that I can just put a code in and not have to lug a cartridge around to pretend like I'm playing a physical game. So I'm still going to remain in the camp that I think codes in the box are an improvement over key cards, not the other way around. But that's just my opinion, and you can have whatever opinion you like. We all got buttholes; they all stink different. Enjoy. It's not. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to do it. But guess what? The consumers have spoken, and they don't want key cards either. And I'm glad for that. And continue to speak your mind with your wallet and not buy key card games, because they're terrible. They are. And actually, it is Nintendo's fault. I made a video recently on this channel about a month ago that was talking about how I didn't know if it was Nintendo's fault and I wasn't going to blame them yet. I have enough information now to make a real assessment. This is Nintendo's fault. Even the third-party games, it is their fault, Nintendo's fault, because they're only offering a 64 gig cartridge, and that's expensive. And let's talk. How much is Hollow Knight, Jeff?
What's the question?
Well, how much is Hollow Knight to buy in the Switch? $15?
It's 50. Yeah, the first original Hollow Knight game is $15. Yeah.
So
if you put it on the regular game card, it would cost them the same amount of money that they're. So you have to charge $30 to make any money off of it.
Right. And we're not talking about greed here. We're not talking about corporate greed. We're talking about like literal to make any profit. Because those new key cards are even though they're not key cards, the new cartridges, the real cartridges, they are more expensive than last gen by a wide margin. Look at your SD Express cards, the same kind of idea. So that cost either gets passed on to the consumer or the developer publisher has to eat that cost. In a case of a game like Hollow Knight, they literally couldn't afford to eat the cost. That would be doing charity work. They're not making games for charity. They are making games to make any profit. And to make Hollow Knight, if it ever comes out on Switch 2 physical, it's going to be a key card, because it's not feasible to charge the yourself where you're not going to make any profit. We're not talking about little. We're talking about like nothing. And it's not feasible for the customer to go, the game's going to be double the price physically if you buy it instead. Jeff, I'll say this. I've said this for actually a year or so. I've said this. I've lost my train of thought because I just saw what Megaboy put in the chat. We all got buttholes. They all stink different. Uncle G, 2025. Yeah. I do those sometimes. What was it? I was talking about Hollow Knight and the price. Oh, I've been saying this for a while. I'm all in favor to keep physical games, real physical games, friends, not fake ones, real physical games, to keep them around and not go to a complete all digital future. I'm in favor of physical games costing more. Gas, everyone gasp. I know. Jeep says pay more. Yes. Not for greed, not for extra profits, but for legitimacy, like to actually get the product on the market. I'm in favor of Hollow Knight being $30 on the Switch 2 physically and buy digital for $15, because that's what it would cost. They have to make some profit. It's a business. I'm not naive.
Yeah. Look at Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley, the physical game is $30. You buy it for $15 on the eShop. There you go. That's how it is.
I didn't realize that those examples already exist. I'm in favor of that methodology. But the problem could be solved if Nintendo just offered different sizes. That's the thing.
I mean, yeah. But also,
okay, not solved. How much could be remedied.
I wonder how much of a difference in pricing would it be between a 64 and like a 32 or a 16? True. It could be probably a couple bucks. It would probably help, but I don't think that's a difference enough to get those publishers to not put games on key cards.
Right.
You just don't offer the key card.
Right. And the thing is, Nintendo and the third parties have a mutual interest in selling more games in retailers because it's getting into the as we'll call them, normies' hands. Normies don't go in the eShop to buy a game. They go to Walmart, Target, Best Buy, and your local retailer, wherever you live, to buy games. And Stardew Valley, for example, wants to sell their game at a retailer. It's probably a dream of that guy's, that single developers to see his games on a store shelf. But in this generation, it's going to be way too expensive for him to do that. Or if he does do it, the game's going to be more expensive than it actually is worth. Although that game has hundreds of hours of gameplay, so that's arguable right there. But I digress.
Yeah, I own 4 copies.
Yeah, this is the problem. Nintendo creates the problem, and I wish they would fix it. And that's what they could do. Also, this in 3 years, we're probably laughing at this because in 3 years, the cost of the cartridges and SD Express cards are going to go down greatly. It's a new tech. It's going to take some time. It looks like an SD card, but as I've learned recently, I think it was yesterday I was looking at this, SD Expresses, they may look like SD cards, but they share more similarities with the MV. What are those things called, Jeff? What's the exact acronym for them?
NVMe.
NVMe. Those
NVMe
new tiny SSDs that are like little squares, not SD squares, but if you know, the NVMe drives. They're basically NVMe drives in the size of an SD card. Not quite as fast, but share more similarities. So again, there's a reason why these SD Expresses are so expensive, because that's getting hate as well. And I don't think Nintendo deserves that hate at all. I think Nintendo deserves praise for their new system to have this new tech, which is 10 freaking times faster than SD cards, like lightning, way more fast. Future-proofing the console? Absolutely, man. You can't expect they weren't going to put an NVMe expansion slot on the Switch 2 for you to access, like an Xbox. Like, that wasn't going to happen. Or a PlayStation. It's a handheld. But this tech is great. It's just expensive right now because it's new. Give it a couple years.
Yeah. I think in a couple years, people will realize that it was worth it because the top speed of a micro SD card from you put in like a regular Switch 1 is like 300 something megabytes per second read. And the Express ones are 800.
Right. Yeah.
So it's multitudes faster.
Yeah.
And you're going to want that. You're going to want the games to run as fast as possible. So you don't want to bottleneck it by sticking like a Amazon, random brand SD card in there that runs at like 50 megs a second. The game would run like total trash and you'd be like, oh, this console sucks.
Yeah, I did that with the Steam Deck, unfortunately. I bought a cheap SD card for the Steam Deck because, again, I told you earlier, my Steam Deck only had 64 gigs of storage. So I had to run all my games, especially the big ones, off an SD card. But I bought the Amazon one, not really thinking about that until after I got it in hand. And Marvel Rivals, in particular. Newer game at the time, still a newer game. Loaded up on my PC, like, pretty quick. It's often at NVMe, right? But on my Steam Deck, when I logged into a game to load into the game, just to play with it took over 2 minutes of gameplay. Like, if you guys know how the game works, you basically get like a minute buffer to choose your character and stuff, get ready, and then you go. It took that minute buffer plus another minute. So they're already playing for the game for a whole minute until I get to select my character because the SD card was so slow. So if that should tell you something, that SD cards, while they were the standard for a while, they're going to be phased out with this micro Express, and it's much better this way. We should be happy about this. And how does this relate to our conversation here? The storage of the cartridges that Nintendo's selling now are not exactly micro SD Express. They're a little different as the different board looks different, but they assemble it in the same way. The speeds are going to be very similar to an SD Express. Much faster, the point is, to last gen. So that means expensive. Again, I feel like I'm going in circles here, but how can you have anything to add to what I'm saying? If possible, I'm just talking in circles.
No, it's good. I think, like you said, they're going to get cheaper. Different sizes are going to start to pop up, and eventually someone's going to make a 1 terabyte one that's relatively cheap, but until then we'll have to deal with the prices that they are now, but it'll be worth it.
Yeah, Mrs. G, but we just got an SD Express in the house, and I got the 512 from Walmart. Clutch. Go to Walmart, guys. Buy if you go to your in-store Walmart. They're only selling them in store right now. You have to be lucky to get one online, and usually it's for pickup only. So go to your local Walmart and see in the Switch section if they have the ONN branded cards. They're literally widowy, like 40% of the price.
Did you see the Spawn Wave video on that?
That's what made me want to buy one of those. I'm like, same damn thing.
They're basically the same as the more expensive ones for what?
Yeah. And I was just there today, and I was showing Miss G, like, look what I'm talking about. The on card, the 256 on card sitting right there for $36. And the Samsung Nintendo branded card is sitting right next to that. And it's $59.99, $60. And I'm like, why? Nobody buy that Samsung. Nobody buy that Samsung. Buy the on brand. They're apparently made by Lexar, or at least a Lexar adjacent company or warehouse. I think Spawnway talked about it, or somebody talked about it. But the point is, we don't know the long-term test yet. We don't know if they're going to die prematurely. That's to be seen. We'll find out. We'll report on that one if it happens. But for now, go buy one of these cards, man. It's half the price basically, and it's like I got 512 gigs for $65. I mean, not cheap, but definitely way better than to buy one of the Samsung or Lexars or SanDisk. So do you have an XP Express in your Switch?
I don't yet. I haven't really been. Mario Kart's probably the biggest game that's on there right now. I didn't transfer my Switch over to it. I just started from scratch. So I've just been installing random games, but I play mostly indie games. So
yeah, that makes sense. So here, I'm gonna try to pull up my storage so I can read off, because I didn't need one right now, but I'm gonna need one when I buy a big digital game, because and I can tell you why. Managed software. So right now, my biggest game is Fortnite, which is 39 gigabytes. After that, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, 25 gigabytes. And I have Rocket League on here. I can uninstall Rocket League. I've had it installed, uninstalled recently. But now that I have the micro SD Express in-house, I do have that game back installed. But we can say, let's forego that one. After that, Mario Kart World, 22 gigabytes. And then another necessary one for me. Again, these are all necessary ones. Tears of the Kingdom, 20 gigabytes. So, I mean, right there, 40, 25, 65. Then we go to Mario Kart, 85. And then we go to Legend of Zelda. That's 100 gigs right there for 5 games. 4 games. 4 games. 1, 2, 3, 4. 100 gigabytes for 4 games. So I didn't need one right now, but I wanted other games. I have other games on here that I wanted to play. Like I got Pokemon on here. That's 10 gigabytes. Splatoon, 10 gigabytes. Metroid Prime Remastered, another 7 gigabytes. Mario RPG, another 6.5 gigabytes. Kirby, 5.5 gigabytes. Echo's Wisdom, 5.5 gigabytes. GameCube on Switch 2, the thing you can only play on here, 5 more gigabytes. Mario Bros. Wonder, 3.5. Sea of Stars, 5. Like, what I've just read is more than 256. So I had to make choices of which ones I had to keep, which one I couldn't keep. But all these games I wanted to have on here right now. So I didn't need one. I could uninstall, play that shuffle. But I wanted one right now. So I got this 512 for now. And then in a few years, probably, I'll say like 2 years from now, is when I'm going to really want more storage. I mean, I really want it right now. I'm an idiot. I want the best as much as I can at all times. But as far as like when I actually need one, probably a couple of years from now. And at that point, the SD Express will be way more inexpensive. So buy the on cards right now, guys. If you need one, go buy an on card, save you some money. And if you get a second Switch 2, like a special edition or something, then you can take this old card they got for now, put it in that system, so you have extra storage in that your secondary system, and then get the terabyte for later. That's what I'm gonna. That's my methodology here. Yeah, man. I think that's gonna do it for this one. Do you have anything to add before we leave here?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
That's okay.
Excited for Donkey Kong.
Yeah, man. Donkey Kong, man.
I'm hoping that once Donkey Kong comes out, they're gonna have another direct and talk about more games coming out. My guess is that they would probably be waiting for Donkey Kong to release.
Right.
To have a direct, because you don't want to announce all these other games and be like, kind of screw over Donkey Kong. It's like,
Oh, for sure. Oh, that's one question I was going to add tonight. Do you think there's going to be a direct this month?
That's tough. I don't know. I'm gonna guess possibly, but if they didn't do one for like June, which they normally do, maybe not until September. Who knows?
Yeah, I am gonna say there will be one, but like you said, I don't think it's gonna be soon. Is that like at least not the early July? It's gonna be after Donkey Kong, or it's gonna be like a week before Donkey Kong. So let's pull the calendar out, Jeff.
Joey Pitts says July 23rd.
That's a good date. That's a Wednesday. It's the second to last Wednesday of the month. So Donkey Kong's the 17th, right? Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I think so. I wouldn't be surprised to see a direct on like the 14th. That's a Monday, July 14th. And then that's 5 days lead up to Donkey Kong. And they could still promote Donkey Kong in that direct. But like you said, that's probably not going to happen because that's going to step on the toes if they have something big to announce what they need to. Because we know there's big games coming out this year that we haven't announced yet. Or at least big games that they need to announce this year that they have not announced yet. They don't want to step on Donkey Kong's toes. So I think there is lots of time, though. There's 2 weeks, almost 2 whole weeks after Donkey Kong in this month that they could come out. So the week of the 21st and 25th, like Joey Pitts said, the 23rd, that's a possible date. That's after Donkey Kong. Or even like July 28th. I'm going to go for that week. Late July. Well, I'm between the 21st and the 31st. I'm going to say my official date is going to be the 28th. No, I'm wrong. The 29th or the 30th because they'll announce it on 28th. So then they'll wait a day or two. My official day is the 29th. Jeff, that's what I'm going to say. Tuesday, the 29th of July. I think there'll be a direct because they have to talk about stuff. And guess what? Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Oh, sorry. Hyrule Warriors Imprisonment Wars needs a date. They want to promote Pokemon before that releases. That needs some stuff. There's Metroid. Almost forgot, Jeff. Almost forgot. I think Nintendo might have forgotten. Metroid needs a date. 2025 question mark? I don't know.
They said 2025. If it's not 2025, I'll be very upset.
We're gonna riot.
Just like Silk Song, man. They said 2025, but also I've been burned before. So
you have. It wasn't Nintendo though. Silk Song is not Nintendo. So to be fair, but those two games have been connected these past 5 years. Both games were kind of announced during 2017, right? Or 2019. When was it? When was that?
So Prime 4 was originally the E3, that was that long ago. It was announced during E3 of 2017.
Yeah.
And then 2019 they announced that it was being redone. I think.
Right.
And then in 2019 was the teaser trailer for Silk Song.
And I just feel like, especially for me, those games have been connected because it's always the biggest joke for the last many directs we've seen has been Metroid or Silk Song. Metroid or Silk Song. Metroid or Silk Song.
I swear they're going to shadow drop.
Yeah. And then they shadow drop Metroid Prime Remastered. And then we're like, oh, they're definitely going to shadow drop Metroid Prime 4, right? And then that one came and passed. And it's like, well, I don't know, but we still haven't seen Silk Song yet. And it's kind of crazy. We have seen Silk Song, Jeff. We've seen it. It's real in the Nintendo Direct for Switch 2. It's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I joked around for a bit that neither of those games were real. Just because, we hadn't heard anything. Did you follow I think they had an account on both Twitter and Blue Sky, but it was like Metroid news. And it was like day 4,000 something. There's still no news about Metroid Prime.
I have not followed that, but I wish I had. That's funny.
My Christ, yeah. And when Metroid Prime 4 officially got the official name Beyond, they officially had that whole thing. That account blew up. They went crazy.
That's nice. That's nice.
Because it was thousands of days where they just had. It was a picture of a news desk with Samus sitting there with her legs up on the desk.
That's so
good.
It's
still no news.
That's so good. It's actually funny you bring that up because I have for the third time I have a sports reference to talk about in this show, and similar regards, the Sixers were a terrible team between the years of 2014 and 2017. They lost so many more games than they won. And there was a Twitter account that was called "Did the Sixers Win?" And that was what they were called. And their entire feed began with just yes and no's. Although for the first couple seasons, it was literally 90% no's. It was just no, 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 no. And like they'll keep going. And then it was a yes. And then they started being creative and they started creating movie not gifs, but like clips, like 40-second to 1-minute clips of movies. And they start playing like the Sixers have this song like a when they win song, so they would just add this Sixers clap your hands everybody, this unnecessary song to like different like a Tarantino movie or like something really dramatic, and so that was like their version of that where it was just like they eventually got so like creative with it. It was crazy what they were able to do because then the Sixers started to win as well, so there's lots of wins. So they just every time they'd win there would be a new creative movie clip with the Sixers song. It was great. It was well done. Reminds me of that. Nice. Also one of my favorite ones, the Trump below the cost of eggs. And you tell me, Jeff, what do you think the feed looks like? And with that, I'm going to end the show, guys. Before we do though, Jeff, tell us where people can find you.
You could find me on YouTube, Twitch, even though I haven't streamed in a while, but I'm going to get back to that. On Blue Sky, I don't really have any other social medias anymore. I got rid of all of them. But I'm on TikTok too, but I don't post.
Blue Sky though, right?
There, but, huh?
Blue Sky, right?
Yeah, Blue Sky. I deleted my Twitter a while ago.
Yeah.
So it's Blue Sky if you want to see like just my random thoughts. YouTube and Twitch mostly for everything else.
Awesome, man. And I can't wait for you to stream some more if you do. If you don't, no pressure. I know what it's like to go on and off with it. You know, it is what it is. You're sick and busy these days, so understandable. But I love your streams, so make sure you guys all follow Jeff on Twitch. And his videos are great. They are so authentic. Is the best way I can describe it. Like I feel like Jeff and I. It's why we get along so well because I feel like we're pretty authentic guys. Like the guys you see, you know, on the content is the guys you see IRL or, you know, video feeds. So like I love Jeff's content. Go check out his YouTube channel as well. Both of those are linked in the description, of course. And this show is over. And before I end it completely, I want to remind you guys who are listening in the stream, or if you made this far, thank you. Again, Drip's on vacation right now. I'm going to be going on vacation in 2 days. So next Wednesday, it's going to be a special episode where I am in a different location on the East Coast, and Drip, Lord willing, is going to be hosting this show on his end. So let's hopefully that works. But in this, so next week, expect the podcast to look and sound a little bit different, but it's going to be the same content you usually expect. It should be a fun one too. I teased it in the pre-show. No after show for us, by the way. So we're just going to sign off and head off for the night. So thank you guys for listening. And before I go, David again gifts a membership. Thank you, David, for so much. That's 4 memberships tonight. Super appreciate you, man. And I'll see you next week, man. And I'll see all you guys next week.